Hi, my name is Megan from Maybe Read Again, and you're watching my BookTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a midweek update for BookTube-A-Thon 2017. So far I have finished 2 books. Actually 3. I just finished listening to one that wasn't on my list. I was halfway through it when the week started, and it's an audiobook, and I had a lot of chores time and I just needed to listen to something, so I just finished that. And then I am on page 290 out of 419 of another one of my books, so hopefully I'm going to finish that soon and I'll make it 4 or 3.5. So the first book that I finished was on day 1, and it's an audiobook. It's called A Pale View of Hills by Kazuo Ishiguro. It went by pretty quickly. It was 6 hours long, but I mean, when you're doing chores and making food, it goes by fast. It was okay. I've read one of his books before, and I think his writing style is pretty consistent because this was actually his first novel, and the other book was maybe published in 2015. So what I mean by his style is consistent is that the characters have very circular conversations in that they'll keep repeating themselves, and with the previous book that I read, that made more sense because they were 2 old people, and the whole thing was that there was this mist that was erasing memory, and so it was like, okay, it's affecting their memories. Did we say this before? Yes. That wasn't happening in this, so it was just annoying to listen to. But what I really liked is that the narrator, she's a British woman, so she had a really pleasant voice, and that really helps me get through audiobooks because I'm not too big on fiction ones because of the voices. And so that was for one of my classes in the fall, so I'm glad that I could knock that out, and I'm hoping to get through a couple more of my assigned readings. So the second book that I read was Outside and in One Day, and that's The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. It's told in really pretty words. It's poetic prose, and it was just the story of this prophet that had been on an island for 12 years waiting for his ship to return, and today's the day that it returns, and before he can leave, all of the townspeople ask him about wisdom, and so it's all these really beautiful passages of his advice, and I highlighted a lot of things. I'll probably give my favorite quotes on the BookTube-A-Thon wrap-up at the end of the week. So the book that I just finished like half an hour ago is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath and narrated by Maggie Gyllenhaal. I checked it out, one, because it's like a classic that I should have read in my lifetime, but also because I had looked up a list of audiobooks that are narrated by actors, because just like I do with my celebrity memoirs, it's just a familiar voice that can hopefully get me through it, especially when it's a fiction audiobook. This was much heavier than I expected. I mean, I should have known because Sylvia Plath suffered from depression and eventually committed suicide, but I had not known that this book is semi-autobiographical. So the main character, Esther, goes through depression and, I guess, spoiler alert, does attempt suicide multiple times, and it ends on a kind of a high note, which is great for those kinds of heavy mental illness narratives. She goes to an asylum, hospitals, gets a good psychiatrist and makes a good relationship with them, and hopefully she's getting out soon. That's how the book ends. As I said, I had been halfway through this when BookTube-A-Thon started, and I didn't want to read it this week. I wanted to stick with my list of books because I have 9 books on my BookTube-A-Thon TBR, but because I listened to A Pale View of Hills on the first day, when I've been doing chores and making food and walking the dog this week, I haven't had anything to listen to, and for the 2 days after I finished A Pale View of Hills, I just listened to music, but today I was like, okay, like, let's be productive here, and so I just finished it, and I'm glad I did, but now I need something else for the rest of the week. So for the last book I've started since the beginning of BookTube-A-Thon is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I'm about 130 pages away from the end, and things are really picking up right now, so I'm into it and really excited. I have a friend coming over for a sleepover tonight, so I don't know how much reading I'll be doing in the next 24 hours, but I'm really excited to end it, and I'm gonna put a hold for the next 2 books in the series at my library so that I can get done as soon as possible. If you want to follow along as I read, I do post updates on my Goodreads, which I'll link below. Comment down below if you've read any of these books, if any of these books are on your TBR. I know some of them are a little obscure. Let me know if you want more about the plot. I'll be giving more in-depth feelings about these in my end of the week wrap-up. If you like what you've seen, please press the like button, and if you want to follow along with how I'm doing, subscribe. Thank you for watching. This is Dixie, and she says bye!